Hey guys, this is Leo Amaral speaking from Spellinkers. In this tutorial I'll show you how to use artifacts to conquer the field and win the battle. So let's jump into it right now. This is my artifact button right here. You always start a battle with at least a level 1 artifact like this one. This is a bronze artifact. And here is its mana cost. It's 40 to put it on the field. Here I have my mana bar. I have 100 to spend on each turn. So I can start by placing this artifact on the field, and I want to put it on a fire terrain because this is a fire artifact. So let me just show you one thing first. I will put this back for a second. So I know this is a fire artifact because of its red jewel that indicates it to me, and I will always get fire artifacts in this battle because I am playing with a fire mage general. And my artifacts are always the same element as my mage general. So I can just put this artifact on the field right now. And I need artifacts on the field for two main reasons. Let me show you. So as I put my artifact on the field, you saw that I got an extra point right here. I had 2, now I have 3. These are my action points, which I use to interact with my Spellinkers. So I can make them move, attack or defend by using action points. And the more artifacts I have on the field, the better, because for each artifact on the field, I get 1 extra action point to spend on each turn. But I will lose this extra action point if I lose my artifact, so I have to take good care of it. And the second and most important reason for maintaining artifacts on the field, you will see when my next turn begins. So this is just an example. I won't play this battle for real, so I'll just skip my turn to the enemy right now. And I won't put any Spellinker on the field. I'm just discarding them because I want to get this jewel right here. So now that I got it, I have a new artifact, so I can place this on the field later. And now I will skip my turn to the enemy, and please pay close attention to my artifact when my next turn begins. Alright, did you see it? A little number, 7, just popped out from my artifact. These were points of domain, and my artifacts work to generate points of domain at the start of each turn. And these points of domain will help me fill this bar here on the top with my blue domain. So as I fill this bar with my blue domain, my domain on the field will also increase. Right now I have a filled domain of just 1 column. You can see it marked by this blue outline. And I can only cast things inside my domain. But once I get a few more points, I will extend my domain by 1 additional column. And once I fill all the bar with my blue domain, I will conquer the field and win the battle. So this is the main goal of this game. I have to fill the bar and conquer the field. And the points of domain generated by artifacts are essential for me to achieve this goal. So the best thing for me to do right now would be to put another artifact on the field to generate more points. But as I said first, this is just an example. I want to show you guys a few more things, and for that I need the enemy to have a little advantage. So I will skip my turn once again, and this time pay attention to his pyramid as the enemy's turn starts. Okay, his pyramid also generated some points of domain. So pyramids work the same as artifacts when it comes to generating points. It will generate points of domain at the start of each enemy's turn and help him fill this bar with his pink domain. And if the enemy fills all the bar with his pink domain, he will conquer the field and win the battle. So this is how you and the enemy will compete for victory. Try to maintain as many artifacts on the field as possible and to destroy his pyramids. So this way we will generate more points than him and we will be able to overcome the enemy. Notice one more thing. Did you see these little numbers here besides the artifact and the pyramids? These represent their time duration in turns. So when this number reaches 0, the artifact or the pyramids will disappear, and you will have to keep placing more artifacts on the field, and the enemy also will have to replace his pyramids over time. Okay, but right now the enemy has 2 pyramids on the field. I have only 1 artifact because I didn't put my artifact on the last turn. So now I'm running behind him, and if I want to catch up, I better put another artifact on the field. So I'll do this right now. And now I will skip my turn once more, and one more thing will happen. Please pay attention to the enemy's domain now. Let's see it. So the enemy got the advantage. What does this mean? Well, at the start of his turn, his pyramids generated more points, and thanks to that he was able to reach the middle of the field first, and that's why he got the advantage. So the one who reaches the middle of the field first gets the battle advantage, which means extra columns added to your field domain. So besides conquering half of the field, the enemy also got this column here added to his domain as a bonus. But once my turn started once more, my artifacts generated more points, and I was able to push him back a little, so I conquered back this column to my domain. And now we are on a tie. So we both have domains of the same size. And so the game will go on this way until one of us fill all the bar and conquer the field. Alright, so in this battle I didn't put any units on the field, but the enemy has already placed many units on the field. But that's not to worry too, because my Spellinkers can take care of the homunculi very easily. I can defeat many homunculi at the same time with one Spellinker. And notice also that for each homunculi defeated, I get a few points of domain too, but that will be for another lesson. Right now I want to focus on the artifacts, so let's skip to the next part of this tutorial. Alright, there's just one more thing that I want to show you before I finish this tutorial, and this is very important. I want to explain why you need to put your artifacts further ahead on the field if you want to win the battle. But before explaining that, I have to explain how the domain bar works. It has a resistance factor on it, so it works just like a coil. As I said before, your main goal is to push this bubble star here all the way to the end, which is the same as saying that you conquered all the field. But just like a coil, it's easier to push it at the beginning. You don't need too much strength for that. But the more and more you push it, the more resistant it gets, and you need much more strength to push it all the way to the end. So this is why it's always harder to conquer your enemy's last columns on each battle. So how can you succeed then? Well, now we can go back to the artifacts. I will just skip my turn to show you how they behave. I already have 3 artifacts placed on the field. All of them are placed on my first column. So on the start of my next turn you will see that they will generate a few points of domain, but this won't help me too much on conquering these last columns here. And later on I will put this artifact further ahead on the field, and you will see that it will generate much more points of domain. And this is just how artifacts behave. Pyramids also work this way, so the enemy will also try to put his pyramids further ahead on the field, closer to our side. And when he does that, I advise you to try to destroy them immediately, because otherwise he will get enough points to defeat you. So now let's just skip this turn and keep an eye on the field domain and the domain bar. So, even though I had 3 artifacts on the field, I wasn't able to generate enough points to conquer the enemy's domain. So now let's see how much points we will get when I put this artifact further ahead on the field. and I want to put it right here, as far as I can go. And before that I will just put this earth spellinker here to protect it. And now I can place it also on the field. And I will skip my turn and let's see how much points we will get at the start of my next turn. Okay, that was nice. This artifact here has generated much more points of domain, and thanks to that I was able to conquer one more column from the enemy's domain. And now what's left to do is to keep placing my artifacts on the field to win the battle. Of course, it doesn't have to be always this far away. I have to worry about protecting my artifacts too, so this place here would be nice for now. And this is the final thing that I want to pay attention to. It's on protecting my artifacts, like I did placing my Earth Spellinker here in front of this artifact. That's because my artifacts will get much more fragile the further ahead on the field they are. So this one here, for example, it's a water artifact on a water terrain, and so it's a stronger artifact, but it still has negative defense. And that's because my artifacts will suffer a penalty of 1 point less of defense for each column ahead of the first. So this one here on the first column has its normal defense, 1, but this one here is suffering a penalty on its defense. But you still have to place your artifacts further ahead on the field because you need them to generate more points of domain. So this is the main lesson here, you have to take risks to win. And with that I conclude this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and until next.